So, Isabella, first. So, topic is bicycle. How to make a city more acceptable to bikes. So, just tell us who you are. You are UCI, en French, Union Cycliste Internationale, based in Switzerland, in Aigle, right? And just tell us who you are. Why are you here?
So I'm the advocacy manager for the UCI. So as you may know, the UCI is a world governing body of cycling. But within the UCI, I don't actually look at the sport aspect, but I look at how the world governing body can be more involved in promoting cycling as a form of transport, as a healthy and healthy recreational activity, and working with different organizations around the world to promote the use of cycling or the use of the bicycle on an everyday basis. So that's working with the UN, with the WHO, with different cycling advocacy organizations, working with cities and regions, and really trying to see how we can amplify the message behind the use of the bicycle.
You are not only involved into competition, but in the cities.
Exactly.
Just to make quick, we will get back to you soon. Now, nice to introduce Barbara. Barbara is coming from, from Sweden, right? So just tell us why you are here with us.
Yeah, my name is Barbara Evaeus, and at the moment I'm working as the global manager for communications for a project that we have called the One Planet City Challenge, and it's a friendly competition.
I forgot to say you are WWF.
Yes. WWF, which some people know as
World Wildlife.
Yes, World Wildlife Fund, or the World
Famous
Wide Fund for
Foundation.
Nature. Yes. Yeah, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that in just a few minutes.
Okay, and now Jan from Belgium, Deinze, which is about 20 kilometers southwest of Ghent. Gand for us in French. Nice to see you here, and because you have been moving definitely onto bike policies. And just tell us, how did you manage? Just to say that you are a city of about 40,000, 45,000 people.
Yes.
And how did you move to bicycle?
Yeah, we invested a lot of bicycle infrastructure, especially the roads from Deinze to Ghent. It's only 20 kilometers away. And it helps a lot of people to change. They change from car to bicycle. And that's the key. You get for a good infrastructure, who is safe, who is convenient, and then the people will change. Build the bike lanes and the cyclists will come.
So it was big investments first, you mean?
Yeah, but investing in bicycle lanes is much cheaper than investing in cars.
Oh.
So cars, they cost a lot of money. When you invest in bicycle lanes, you're investing in more than that. You're investing in people who are only 8 years old, and you're investing as well in people who are 80 years old. Because the bike lanes, they are good for everybody. They are good for everybody who is moving himself on small wheels.
Good for health?
It's good for health, it's good for education, it's good for climate. So that's why an old solution, the bicycle, we have to move it out of our stables.
Again, same question. Is it not popular to say get rid of cars and get to the bicycle? People say, I am not a rider. How should I move to a bicycle?
You have to lead by example. When I become mayor in my city, I get rid of my car. But I get rid of my car parking, my reserved car parking as a mayor, and I gave my alderman an electric bicycle. And so we move as a peloton.
Subsidized. Yes?
We do that as well. When you get rid of your car, you get a grant to buy a new bicycle, a speed pedelec or a bakfiets. It's a
bakfiets, it's a kind of long bicycle with a box.
It's a car on two wheels.
For children or for things?
For 2 kids. I have a twin. I put them in front. We go to
school. Very nice. Yeah, we know. Now.
And so we became, in only 5 years' time, the best Belgian cycling city. Yes. And we managed to do that. We were elected 2 times.
Who is the first? Who is the first city? You said you are second?
No, together with Ghent, we came for the 2 years in a row the best Belgian bicycle cities. So that's great to have a co-working relation with a greater city next to you.
Interesting point. Also, what you did with the schools, with pupils.
Yes, I have, I think, a picture of that. What we do, we make school streets.
Very young.
And we also organize the national championship of balance bikes. So
These are balance
how
bikes.
earlier you start, give the usage for a bicycle with the children, yeah, how happier they are. The children, they want to move themselves on a bicycle because they are free. But you have to make the infrastructure safe because no mother will allow their kids to go alone on a bicycle. And in Belgium, it's allowed from the years of...
You start at the age of 4 or 5.
There are kids of 4 and 5 years old, but that's on a closed area. But in my city, the kids, they go to school as they do in Holland. So the greatest school in our town has 1,250 schoolers, and 1,000 of them, they come every day by bicycle. So imagine what it should do in my city where they should come by car. So we gain a lot. We gain a lot by giving the people the freedom to cycle.
Got some statistics? You told me that we're over 1,000 moving to bicycle?
Yes. So we have, and that one school, school, the leading school, 1,000 of 1,250 schoolers are coming by bicycle. So, and we have in our city 6,000 schoolers every day, so 5,000 of them, they're coming by bicycle. And they have the power.
So it's over 80%, you mean?
Over 80% of the schoolers come by bicycle. They made us bicycle city. It's not the elderly people. The grown-ups, they still use their car, but they have to get rid of the car in the city center, and we push the car away. We built three new buildings, an art school, a theater, and a city hall, on places where we had a big car parking. And people asked me, where do you gonna put the cars? And I said, I don't know, it's not my problem. It's not the problem of the city. It's the problem of the individual to move their car. So, and they can change. You have to push for change. And of course, in the beginning, we have some obstruction from other politicians and from the shopkeepers. But it turned into a profit. And listen very well what I'm going to say. We have 75 new shops in our town.
Yeah.
We stopped the problem of smaller shops who get rid of the center of the town, and we get new shops, new guys who came into the city say, we believe in the city, that's what we want to do, and we believe in a smaller city on a smaller scale, and here we want to open a shop.
Yeah, and you don't seem so much worried about the next election, for instance.
Yeah, that's the problem. I told it to colleagues in Flanders. I need to be re-elected. It's very important for everybody that I need to be re-elected because Klaus Bontham in Copenhagen, he made Copenhagen to a fantastic
Denmark, yeah.
Bicycle city. He wasn't re-elected, so that's a problem. So my colleague in Ghent, Philippe Watteau from the Green Party, I'm from another party, I'm from a center party. We were both re-elected. We won the elections because we choose for the bicycle.
Great. Now, how to organize some new initiatives like scooters or car sharing? You also had some good initiatives. I heard of that. You had also this Mobi Punkt.
Yes, we had.
Say that. You have some.
We have a mobile point. We saw it in Bremen.
Explain what it is.
It's a place where you can all kinds of mobility, car shares. Bike shares, public transport system, charging points.
Let's imagine it's a bus stop where you can move to bike.
Yeah, it's a bus stop.
Scooter.
Yeah, it's a bus stop where you move to bike. The picture you see here is another thing we did. You see a mom with her kids on a bicycle, and before there, where you saw it was only a place for cars, and we moved the cars on that spot away, and you get new.
It's what you call a basket.
Yes.
How do you say again?
Excuse me.
How do you call this?
No, that's a bicycle. That's a bicycle. That's a mom with the kid with a handicap. Now she can use. She can come in town.
You have a name with a box inside, in front of it, back speed.
Yeah, it's not the bakfiets. That's not a
It's not a
bakfiets. No, it's not a kind of. It's a special bike who is adapted on a mom with a kid. But it's also important to. That's also what I want to show. It's a square in my town that was a car parking before, and we got rid of the cars and we made it a place for people, and no car is allowed to come there anymore. And you see what is possible with the city, and you can create greater places for live for people, and that's a problem that was mentioned before. The urban sprawl in our cities is a problem, so we have to convince people to get in, to move again into the towns, because if you live in a town, you're already there. You don't need a car to move into the city. You can go by foot. So everybody on a certain point, you have to walk. And now we are investing in bike lanes, who will become the future of that bike lane will be a path for pedestrians. So Copenhagen did the same. They have a very great pedestrian zone. Everybody forgets it. It's a bicycle city, but they have one of the biggest pedestrian zones in Europe. So that's the future, that people should walk, should into the city, and that's what we believe in. And the bicycle is a great partner for that.
Back to Isabella. So what do you think of these initiatives compared to what you try to do with the UCI? So apart from competition, Tour de France, we know you for that, but apparently you have a program for cities. Yes?
Yeah, so
and what do you feel about that?
Oh, these are all fantastic examples and part of what we're trying to do in terms of sharing best practices. So one of our goals is really to be able to promote and share what great cities are doing to promote cycling on all levels, whether it's cycling with children, developing road safety programs, developing infrastructures. So that's part of what we're trying to do with the UCI Bike City label. So it's a program that we created.
A label?
Yes, it's a label that we give to cities and regions that host UCI events, so World Championships, World Cups.
Is it a bike city label?
Yes.
Paris has it,
yeah,
right?
Paris has it,
and
yes.
I heard Saint-Quentin?
Yes, Saint-Quentin as well.
Is that right?
Exactly.
I have a friend there. Okay, I will tell him, you should bike now. Good.
And
so how many European you have this label?
So we have 14 cities and regions around the world that have the label. For instance, as well, Vancouver in Canada has it, but then also Copenhagen was actually the first city to receive the label in 2008. But also cities like Glasgow, regions like Tyrol in Austria. And the objective of the label is to reward cities that host cycling events, but also have very clear strategies to promote cycling for the population. And that's based on a list of criteria that includes a long-term strategy, funding, programs for children, programs for road safety, developing infrastructures, having a clear plan to increase cycle use, having monitoring and evaluation. And so we work with these...
Long list.
Yes, it's a long list. And there's 8 specific criteria, but they receive a questionnaire, and we basically look at the strategies that they develop to promote cycling.
Are you going to be bike city?
Absolutely, we will apply with the whole region of Flanders to become a bike-friendly city and region. Yeah. So that's what we want to do, and that's our intention to get the label.
And Isabella, you mentioned, sorry, you want to add something?
Well, the interesting about Flanders actually is we are in contact with them because they are organizing the Road World Championships in 2021. Oh. But also, they're not actually looking at it as a World Championships. They're looking at it as an opportunity to promote cycling for the population. So they're trying to see how can they leave a legacy for the region, how can they get more people cycling in Flanders, how can they promote what great examples they already have in Flanders, and how can other cities around the world learn from what they're doing.
And also you mentioned to me that you were processing a lot of data. Is it open data? Or what?
Yeah, so what we do is we try to really promote what these cities are doing. So we'll, on the UCI website, we'll have a summary of projects that they're leading. We write articles about the work that they do. We try to promote on social media as well. There's still a bit of work to do. We need to do a bit more promotion, and we're trying to see how we can enhance the level of information that's shared on each one of the bike cities and regions. But really, the objective is to share that with the population.
Okay, let's turn to Barbara. So Barbara Evaeus in Sweden, you have a good example there. But tell us what you think of that for the World Wild Fund.
Absolutely.
How is it improving? Do you feel better today?
Yeah.
Or is it a long way again?
We have a long way to go, but it is encouraging to hear about these examples. And definitely it's interesting to be in the city space. And many of you may be wondering what the heck is someone up there from an environmental organization talking about urban development. But we recognized actually quite a while ago that if over 70% of greenhouse gas emissions are coming from cities, cities are the source of those emissions, and over half of the world's population is now living in urban areas, that for us to achieve our other goals, it was really important to tackle the city space. And in about 2010, we issued a report called Reinventing the City, which looked at investments, projected investments, and that was about $350 trillion over the course of a 30-year period that would be invested in urban infrastructure and use. And that lasts a really long time. So it was super important to get this to move away from a high carbon infrastructure to a low carbon infrastructure. And that's why we're working with this issue. The other thing is that we recognize that cities have a lot of autonomy and power to make change on the ground. And after having participated personally in a lot of these global negotiations in Copenhagen, for example, and then here in Paris even, and when I was here in 2015 for the global climate negotiations, Mayor Hidalgo had a conference called the Mayor Summit, where she gathered 1,000 city mayors. And to hear their stories was super inspiring, and to recognize that change is happening on the ground. So this goal that we have of reaching the target, let's say, of the Paris Agreement is doable if we can just scale that up and replicate the examples that cities like yours are doing. It makes it more achievable. So cities were going to be an important focus for us. And that's the kind of start for this. And then we actually initiated, I and a couple of colleagues, a challenge. We call it the One Planet City Challenge. And the challenge is for cities to show us how they can accomplish alignment with the Paris target of 1.5 degrees. So cities report the data, and as Lauren said before, how important it is to really measure and track your data so that you know whether or not your plans are going to lead where you're looking to go. And so we evaluate the data that's reported on the Global Covenants open platform. That's now a merger of the CDP and eClay platforms. And then select a number of finalists through the data selection, and then we have a high-level jury that chooses winners, so national winners. We have about cities in 30 countries participating. And the idea there is to recognize and reward cities for the great work they're doing so that they feel inspired, that they can do some kind of learning and sharing of knowledge with other cities in the network. And mobility is one of the biggest challenges. We often hear from cities how this is really one of the biggest challenges, and we'd like to work in advocating for reclaiming the cities, both for people and for nature.
Okay. It's time to get to a conclusion. Maybe, Jan, what do you think?
Yeah, I would say there are a lot of mayors here, a lot of colleagues. I would suggest reinvent yourself. Get rid of your car. And get rid of your reserved car parking and change your city, lead by example, walk your talk, you can do it, and so you will be re-elected next time.
Isabella, do you agree with that? Take risk, or?
Yeah, no, definitely. Actually, I wanted to, I thought the point on knowledge sharing was actually a great one in terms of there being so many great examples, and it's being able to share those with cities that are wanting to learn how to do better. There are so many great examples we can use, and so it's trying to see how can we bring people together to share this knowledge and build partnerships to promote great examples.
So, Barbara, the last word. We can dream of a nice world in the city with the nature back. Did you hear about Honey's in Paris, for instance?
Yeah,
you know that?
yeah, I do. And as a matter of fact, I love the
We have
changes
bees
that are
and
happening.
honey in Paris.
Yes, and I would say that it's important to raise the level of ambition, to take these courageous actions, to have long-term strategies and plans. And the vulnerability for cities is that, will you be elected, re-elected, to be able to continue the work that you're doing, or will another party come in and start reversing those changes? So it's really actually about getting everyone on board. I would say that it has to be across different political
Thank you very much, we all. I am very enthusiastic now as a bike rider, be back in Paris. We can applaud our good speakers.